All right, everyone, welcome to our first ever games recap. It's your boy Josh and my brother Evan, both from Point Made. What's up, Evan? How you doing?
Good man. How are you going? Thanks for staying up late.
Yeah, it's about 1 a.m. over here in Alaska. I have no clue what time it is in Aussie time. What is it?
I've got no idea either. About 9 p.m. Yeah, 10 past 9. Yep.
Love it. Don't know the time at all. That's a new dad right there. That's the MVP right there. That's what I love to see. But we're just gonna go quick game by game recap, kind of talk about the little fantasy implications and how teams are trending. So just dive right into it with game number one right here. I'll let you take the lead on this one, my brother.
Sure, man. So we had Milwaukee and Cleveland in the first game. Cleveland just get the win 116-114. My boy Dame struggling in Milwaukee, man. There's no wins on the board here. But what do we have? I mean, let's go to Cleveland first. Garland's flying. He's doing so well. It's great to see after last year's injuries. Garland's one of the point made favourites. We love Darius Garland, and it's so good to see him flying. Merrill, cheeky stream option if Wade and Levert remain out, so keep an eye on that. And then up for Milwaukee, Bobby Portis obviously had a monster game with Giannis out. Dame, a big one as well, and Gary Trent Jr. You can drop him pretty easily. Kind of the big takeaways from that game. So, yeah, you got anything to add, Josh?
Anything with that is just how good Dame has looked this year. Explosive.
He's looked good.
Even if the offense is not there, he has his burst again. That's really good to see. Like you said, Bobby Portis, Giannis out today, late scratch. If he continues to be out, Bobby Portis is a must go. I know he's kind of having a rough go at it for it, but 21 and 18 is huge, 3 blocks and everything. Kind of stretched the floor from here to there. He went 0 for 2 from three today. I know he's kind of a little taken a step back in terms of his shooting. I think he was shooting about 51, 52% last year, coming in at 47% from the field. So a little bit of cold streak, but he cooked when Giannis is out.
Yeah, man, for sure. All right, move on to the second game. We had Golden State taking on the rookies. All the rookies in Washington starting. It's cool to see, man.
Love
125,
those,
112.
love those Washington
Uh,
boys.
yeah, man, we're hyped over here at Point Made. Starting in with Golden State. Curry looked really good, coming back, limited minutes, but was able to drop 24 points. Decent field goals, hit his 4 threes as he does, 100% from the free throw line, 6 assists. Yeah, as we said, 24 minutes. He's just going to keep going up from there. Nice to have him back. Pods, obviously with the illness, kind of didn't see him after halftime. Just 6 points and 4 boards, 13 minutes. Doesn't sound like it'll be a long-term thing, so hold on to your pods. No need to drop anything there. Wiggins had a stinker, just 17 minutes. All the minutes are rough in Golden State outside of Curry and Draymond, really. It's hard to trust anyone. Draymond had a good game, 18, 8 and 5 with the block. So he did well. Anything from you on Golden State?
And just what you touched on there, that rotation is so deep, and a lot of the people that I've talked to on Twitter just kind of reiterating that there's got to be a lot of patience there. Like you can have someone like TJD pop off, he's like a low end double threat when he gets the minutes, but night to night basis, Looney's still going to be there. There's going to be instances where they're running Kuminga at the five, going to have Draymond at the five and everything. They just play around with so many lineups. It's really hard to trust anyone there, and I think a lot of people have already touched on it, Buddy Hield, and I think everyone's trying to do it. You're trying to sell high on Buddy Hield because you're not really sure how sustainable that type of production is going to be from a game to game basis. He's been really cooking. If you could sell him, sell him. If not, just ride the hot hand because I think everyone's already kind of using that strategy of trying to sell Buddy.
For sure. Yeah, it's tough. The minutes are tough. 12-man rotation it's hard to find a lot of gems in there, but yeah, let's hope for a bit more clarity moving forward. Over to the Washington rookies. What do we have here? Alex Sarr. I mean, he's just doing what we thought he'd do, right? Like he's a defensive monster. Streak of 2+ blocks to start his career is up to 6. He had 3. You have 3 today. 2.8 averaging on the season in just about 25 minutes. Really liking what he's showing defensively. We knew he was rough offensively. We knew he was a project. It's cool. It's going to be cool to see him develop, but the defense is there. We knew it was there. How are you feeling about Sarr? He's been my number one rookie the whole way through, and hasn't moved even when we got flamed for that after summer league. But
Oh yeah, I was gonna
um,
touch on that 100%. I think posting those from the dynasty set, he was always number one. I mean, and that's coming from someone that was really high on Buzelis, and that's just kind of understanding like his skill set is so rare. Like we kind of take it for granted, but coming in and you're already hitting 2 blocks per game, 6 games in, almost touching 3 blocks per game, even though you're playing 25 minutes per game is insane. Some of those flashes where he's able to kind of bring the ball up the court himself, go coast to
mhm,
coast after pulling up a rebound, and just looks so fluid while doing it too. Like it's natural to him. And the field goal percentage is going to come up. The 3 point percentages are going to come up. And those are just things you got to stomach. Like I talk to people, that's a punt, field goal. Um, Big, ideally, because those blocks are insane. He's getting those rebounds up. He's getting a little bit more physical. He's kind of taking control of that five position over there in Washington. And my boy over there, Bilal, man, love that dude. Absolutely insane, rough game. I think you hold strong. He's still playing 39 minutes a game, and that's his field goal percentages has been crazy. What he had 73%, 72% true shooting percentage coming to this game. Obviously not going to sustain, but you just love seeing him be aggressive. And look at Keshawn George, 17 3-point attempts. Definitely not sustainable
crazy.
as well either. But one of the great things he does is he's an excellent defender. His hands are always active. He could play make as well, like he played point guard in Miami. So that comes natural to him too. And then look at Bub over there. I think some of the more savvier league is going to start picking up Bub because at the end of the season, his usage is going to be crazy, especially if they're passing that point guard role to him.
For sure. The other one, I mean, you talked about the center position. Jonas Valanciunas had a good game, 16 points, 12 boards, 7 assists, but 21 minutes. He's not going to produce like that in 21 minutes. So Sarr, like you said, is taking control of that spot, holding Valanciunas for now, but the minutes are a little bit worrying for sure.
One of those things too is Kuzma's going to be back. We're going to see who takes a
Absolutely.
dip in that minutes, and
Yep.
all the usage is going to soak up as well too. Going to take a lot of
Yep.
those field goal attempts away from some of those young guys. So please trade
Absolutely.
Kuzma. Please trade him.
Sell high. Sell. Just sell. Just sell. Cool. Let's move on.
Love it.
Detroit. Your boys, Josh.
Boys.
Josh has claimed that the Pistons are a play-in team this year. I'm not convinced yet, but they get the win here, 115-103 over the Lakers. For the Lakers, how good has Anthony Davis been this year, man? He is, what is he, top three fantasy producer right now, just a monster. The offense seems to be built around him right now, and he is just absolutely flying. D'Angelo Russell is struggling with his shot. Nice to see 8 assists. 14 shots is good, though. That'll come up. Just hold and be patient there. Austin Reeves with 17 shots is great. Nice to see him getting a lot of usage as well. Rui, back to normal Rui. It looks like had a really good start to the year, but starting to slow down a little bit there. What are you seeing from the Lakers and JJ Redick?
I'm seeing a lot of playing around with their bench rotation. Just trying to figure out which wing is going to stick over there. You see Cam Reddish kind of getting the nod today. Dalton Connect, one of those like super hyped up rookies after his big summer league game, but at the end of the day, he's just a points and threes guy. But like you said, Anthony Davis MVP caliber season. It's kind of see kind of how far he could take them. But Reeves got cooked on defense today. That's all I could say. Cooked.
It happens. It happens. Who cooked him?
Your boy, Jaden Ivey,
Yeah,
my
let's check
goat.
out Detroit. Ivy's looking great. That's your boy Josh. Cade putting up a triple double on a rough shooting night is really good to see. His all around game is really shining this year, and as soon as those percentages trend up a little bit, he's having that breakout year that we thought he might. Um, yeah, the minute split between Duran and Stewart is still pretty interesting. Obviously, Duran had the 5 fouls here, but only 23 minutes. Stewart played more than that with 24. Duran was still good, 11 points, 14 boards, an assist, a steal, and a block. But yeah, it's really interesting. It's hard to get a gauge on right now where that is going to go long term. Is it just because of the fouls? Is it, is it because of Duran's struggles on defense? What's going on there? But interested in your thoughts on that.
Yeah, the thing with Duran is he has all the tools to kind of be this elite defender. The verticality, he has good feet. It's all about positioning and kind of getting more. Like you said, he has 5 fouls. So just kind of learning how to play the position and putting himself in a place where he can be successful. I think that's what JB Bickerstaff is trying to work with him with, but he's also kind of forcing his hand a little bit when he racks up fouls at that rate. Dude's like shooting an insane field goal. I think he's shooting like 89% from the field. He's taking like 4 field goal attempts a game. So his usage is really low, but Jalen Duren, I think a little thing that he needs to kind of highlight more too is his playmaking. I think he has a little more playmaking than he's shown. But with Ivy and Cunningham playing the way they have, like it's really hard to take the ball out of their hands. But at the high post, I think Durant can be a little bit more than what he's shown to. But we got a little Ron Holland the second sighting today. I'm kind of
Sure
interested
did.
to see how Asar kind of fits into this when healthy. I know that's your boy, but Holland's looking good, aggressive, that field goal. I was talking to someone in the preseason who said Holland's a better 3-point shooter than some other people, and I was like, I don't think you've seen
Was that
Holland play.
Buzelis?
Yeah, yeah, I
We're
think it was
talking about him
Buzelis
shooting
versus some
better
other
than
people too.
Buzelis. Yeah,
But
yeah.
I was like, Holland has everything you want except that perimeter shot. So once that falls, that starts hitting, it's everything because that defense is insane. Him and Asar are going to be crazy on the perimeter.
Yeah, if at least one of them can learn how to shoot, that'd be nice. 4 for 4 from the free throw line is encouraging from Ron, but
Urging, yeah.
yeah, Cade 2 for 5 from the line was painful. But yeah, lots to like in Detroit. I think they're obviously playing a lot better than last year,
Play-in
so it's
team,
good to see.
baby. That's the
We'll
10th
see.
seed right
We'll
there.
see. All right, let's move on. Next game, what do we have? Boston 123 smashed. Atlanta was a blowout. So the minutes were kind of all over the shop. Hang on a minute, that's not the box score. What are we doing?
Technical
What are we
difficulty.
doing? Technical
It's our first
difficulties.
time.
So Boston, yeah, like we kind of said, the minutes obviously all really low in a blowout. Nemes Quader and Sam Hauser are decent stream options and good to look out for in deeper leagues. I think Peyton Pritchard is someone that we probably have to be rostering in 12-team leagues right now. He put up another 18 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, and a steal. He hit 3 threes. He's ticking along really well. Anything from you on Boston side? Kind of hard to gauge much out of this one.
100%. Hard to take anything away. You got Jalen Brown not playing today as well. So that kind of opened a little bit of opportunities for Pritchard to pop off. Fast PP, his handle, love it. But he's been absolutely dynamic as a scorer. I kind of been iffy buying in on him. I kind of listed him as a stream. But he's kind of forcing your hand at this point with the amount of production he's been giving us.
Yeah, I think you ride it, and then when it trends the other way, which it will, we drop. But for now, I think he's got to be rusted somewhere. Atlanta Hawks. Let's talk about Trae Young. Horrible night. 1 for 10, 0 for 6. Didn't take a free throw. 2 points. It was the last time Trae Young had 2 points. 6 assists, 1 steal. But yeah, shocking. 23 minutes only. Obviously, the minutes were low on this side as well. Dyson Daniels, not a great night, just 8 points, but 3 assists and a steal. Just hold again, low minutes, coming back from injury. No need to panic there. Lots of low minutes. David Roddy ends up with 29 minutes in a blowout. He does all right. Nice to see Onyeka Okongwu with 18 and 10 in just 22 minutes. And Clint Capella is really struggling. So a couple of questions on Twitter about Clint today, and it's it depends on what your team is and where you're sitting and who you might be picking up, but he's very droppable, so don't hold on to him too tightly. And nice to see Jalen Johnson kind of flying since that rough start. Yeah, what are you seeing here in Atlanta?
Ricochet, man. I think that's one of those guys, end of season, you really want to start thinking about holding if you can tolerate that field goal percentage because he's going to get a ton of run. Hunter's going to come back, but they're still going to prioritize the development in this year. I'm not really sure whether I buy Atlanta as being a competitive team this year or they're going to completely shift towards tanking and kind of rebuilding around Trey once again. This is the second game now where I think Trey was really stifled in terms of, um, giving different looks on the perimeter on him. And Boston, one of the most talented teams when it comes to perimeter defenders. So it makes sense for him to have a rough game, but 1 of 10 is rough, 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 rough. David Roddy, he's been a pretty consistent, streamable guy. Keaton Wallace, you kind of want to give some love to him, man. 6 stocks today is insane. So someone to look at if you need a stock streamer going into a game or a matchup.
For sure. All right, moving on to Memphis and Brooklyn. So Brooklyn have been a bit plucky this year, haven't they? They're just kind of fighting hard. They're getting a few more wins than we thought they would.
Great coaching.
They're looking all right, and they take out Memphis, man, which is a bit of a surprise. Zach Edey, you got to talk about the big Zach. 25 and 12, 4 blocks, 91% from the field. Hits a three, a walk-up three. 2 for 4 from the free throw line. He was huge in 28 minutes. That's kind of above and beyond what a lot of people thought he'd be able to play on an NBA court. So really impressive to see that. There's going to be ups and downs, but hey, if you've got him, enjoy it. Nice to see Aldama still get 12 shots in 31 minutes with a bit more of a healthy lineup, with Jaron also playing 32. Nice to see Aldama there. The usage is there. His assists have trended up this year, which is kind of cool. 0 for 6 from 3, though, was a little bit rough. Laravia, 31 minutes. I know that's your boy. And the Jay Huff experiment looks like it's kind of slowing down a little bit. He's good. He looks good, but just 2 points, 2 rebounds, and a block today. What are you seeing?
Over here, man, Edie, 28 minutes, team high, plus minus with 5. And this is a game that they lost by 13. So he really had a really good positive impact on this game. He's kind of showcasing how he can be impactful. That walk-up three that you mentioned, nuts, and being able to do that consistently, just so great for him as a player because it gives him that ability to once again reset. And I think he's going to get better and better once they have their perimeter defenders back. You get Marcus Smart back, and you could play drop coverage a lot better. Having Zach Edey drop and having Smart over there at the point of attack is huge. Without those, elite point of attack defenders, it kind of really isolates him and kind of puts him on an island. But he's kind of showing that he's able to recover too, just like with that big old block that we kind of talked about with on Dennis Schroeder. It was really good seeing him adjust to that, the speed and the pace of the NBA. And he's going to get more and more run, I think, as he continues to do so.
Yeah, for sure. And if anyone didn't catch Ja Morant's highlights from today, multiple 360 layups, just insane body control. Go and check those out if you haven't seen
Fake
those already.
dunk, spin,
The fake
360
dunk.
layup. What
Ugh,
is that? Who
man.
does a fake dunk?
Yeah, just ridiculous. One of the coolest things I've seen on a basketball court, man. Just wild. Going to have a quick look at the Brooklyn Nets. Claxton's on his way back. Kind of the buy low window is still open just a little bit. His minutes are trending back up just over 26 in this one. Cam Thomas had a bit of a stinker, 35% from the field, didn't hit a three, just 13 points, but hey, that's Cam Thomas. You're going to have stinkers. You're going to have hot shooting nights. That's why you drafted him. So Dennis Schroeder's still just kind of ticking along, 20 points, 6 assists. We drafted him in industry pickup right at the end for, I think, $2. And I didn't see this coming. He's had an amazing start to the year. We're just enjoying it. And it's not going to sustain at this level, but man, it's been fun having him, right?
No, 100%. 100%. Dennis Schroeder. I think I was like, we need Dennis Schroeder. He's going to have all the leeway as that point guard over there, especially with Ben Simmons resting on back-to-backs, whether at the front end or the back end of back-to-back. So he's going to have a ton of usage. And it's not like they have a point guard that they need to develop anyways. So it's not like he's going to cede a lot of those minutes at the end of the season. And just having them there is really good for a little bit of the development of their younger guys that they're trying to play around with on their bench. Got Jalen Wilson over there, Keon Johnson, Zaire Williams. Zaire Williams got about 3 or 4 20-plus minute games now. One of the encouraging things about Cam Thomas too is the 6 assists. And that's big for Cam Thomas. When his shot's not
Mm-hmm.
falling, how does he positively impact the game? Seeing him get those assists up, I think, is a really big indicator of him growing as a player.
For sure. It's been nice to see some peripherals from Cam. And speaking of Cam Johnson's been playing pretty well lately, 36 minutes, shot the lights out, 20 points, 3 or 4 from 3 and 8 of 11 from the field. So if you've got him, enjoy that as well.
100%.
All right, moving on. We had Sacramento take Miami out. Sabonis hits the late game winner off the offensive rebound, I believe. What do we have for Sacramento? I mean, Keon Ellis obviously sits there kind of standing out, 28 minutes. As soon as Kevin Huerter misses, he's an elite stream. But Still asking the question, why is he not getting the role when they're healthy? It's a bit frustrating. He chipped in his 3 steals. He's been great when he gets the opportunity. So as long as Herder's out, make sure you got him. And it looks like there's enough usage to kind of go around here. Fox with 21 shots, DeMar with 18. So bonus with 12 is probably a little bit low, but he's still pulling down his rebounds, getting his assists and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, it seems like there's enough ball to go around, and Keegan Murray just kind of Keegan Murraying around, like he gets his 14, 15 points, 6, 7 rebounds, hits a couple of threes. It's just kind of what he does. So, yeah, what are you seeing here?
Yeah, that's the thing. Keon Ellis, that plus minus 22, insane in a 1 point win. And you kind of look at the bottom of it, you see Dougie McBuckets over there, who got the start over Keon Ellis the last time Herder was out. It's very confusing. But they're doing a lot of experimenting. You got DeRozan in here. So you're trying to figure out what works best in terms of the lineup. But having a low usage guy like Keon Ellis, who just makes such an impact defensively, 3 steals, and he's able to hit shots consistently as well. Career 42% 3-point shooter. So I think plug him in there, I think would be best. I think they need a little bit more rim protection. So that's just a person to watch out. Maybe they're going to pick up Time Lord or something for someone cheap. Just kind of integrate him there just as someone to kind of help them with their interior defense.
For sure. And heading over to Miami, how about Bam Adebayo with 3 steals and 4 blocks? You don't usually get that from Bam. He's really struggled to start the year, and this kind of outside of those stocks still wasn't an amazing game, 16, 8, and 5. But the threes seem to have disappeared. He was letting them rip in preseason. Just the one attempt today, so it'd be nice to see those back. But hey, 3 steals and 4 blocks, you cannot complain about that. Tyler Hero's usage is up and about. That's good to see. 27 points for him, 6 rebounds, 3 assists. Terry Rozier, not a lot going on for Scary Terry. Just 3 of 6 from the field. Jimmy Butler had a good one, and Jovic's minutes have kind of cratered. He's back down to 12 minutes at the moment. So, what are you seeing in Miami?
Yeah, same thing with you. I think, Adebayo's stocks kind of jump out this year. Someone who's averaging what, 0.9 blocks, 1.1 steals last game. He's at 1.5 and 1.5 respectively. So about three stocks per game right now out of Bam is really good. So even if he's not been as productive as he has been offensively, he's still got his assists there. His rebounds are coming up. He had a big game scoring wise the other night. So he's trending in the right direction, seeing Pele Larson come alive. Miami, man, they land these guys and they just turn them into freaking lights out shooters. He's kind of integrating really well, but that's something Jaime Jaquez out today. Something to watch. Kella Ware, who was lighting it up, summer league, one of those guys everyone was kind of falling in love with. Still not in the rotation. You got Thomas Bryant playing a lot over him, so just something to watch as well too. As you get further and further into the season, that's just someone to add to your watch list. Just because he has such a fantasy friendly game with his shot blocking, his athleticism and his defense as well.
Yeah, pretty surprising not to see him in the rotation opening night and since. But hey, you got to play Thomas Bryant, right? That's winning basketball.
Just 12 minutes for my boy Jovic today too. Sad, sad, sad.
Sad, sad. Moving on, next game we had Utah 135 taking out Chicago. This was Utah's first win of the season, I believe. Nice to see Cody Williams get some stats. Puts up 11 points, 5 boards, 4 assists, and a steal. Nice to see some of those peripherals come about. Colin Sexton had a good night. He's been a bit marginalised in the rotation. He's not playing many minutes, but when the role is there, you can clearly see that he's going to produce 24 points, 5 assists, a steal, and a block. Obviously, there's injuries kind of allowing him to have that role right now, and we don't know what it's going to look like when they're back. But hey, that is what it is. Keontae George exploded, 33 points, 9 assists. Field goal still not great, but hit 6 threes and shot 84% from the line on 13 attempts. That's awesome to see. And Walker Kessler resurgence continues, 12 and 16 with 3 blocks, a couple of assists as well. That's really nice. John Collins also had a big one off the bench. And shout out Patty Mills, man. Still getting minutes in the NBA. I love to see it.
He's still doing it. Yeah, John Collins, someone to watch. I think Utah past couple years kind of straddled the line in terms of developing their youth and kind of remaining in contention by, playing guys like Colin Sexton, John Collins so much. So just someone to watch whether they move John Collins, just kind of open the floor and get their young guys a lot more run. Cody Williams, like you said, is already trending up. That's definitely someone to think about adding with some of the injuries that they're experiencing over there. Taylor Hendricks, our boy, man. Hope you get back healthy. Just hit the ground running like you should be because he has such an amazing game, such an amazing young guy.
Mm-hmm.
Kyle Filipowski, see him get some run too. Just keep in mind if you're holding Filipowski and Williams, Lauren Markkinen will be back, but it's just something to watch because there's going to be a whole bunch of, illnesses or injuries to certain key players here in Utah.
Mm-hmm. They're starting early this year.
100%.
Yeah, man. Over to Chicago. How about Dosunmu? Had a great game. 25 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, and a block. Elite shooting, 69 from the field, 7 of 7 from the free throw line. But he kind of needs someone missing from that starting unit to be super relevant. Today it was Zach LaVine. But hey, if someone is missing, make sure you go and grab him, stream him in if he's not already rostered. It was good to see from Io. Big Vooch is having a great year. Kind of people love to hate on Vooch in draft season, and he's just smashing it right now. 23, 10, and 6, a steal and 3 blocks. Japers, that's not something you see from Big Vooch. Really good to see. Yeah, just enjoy it if you drafted him. It's going well. Obviously, there's a trade risk, a shutdown risk if he's not traded, but hey, he's killing it right now. Kobe White's having a good year, a bit up and down, but a great game here. 28, 6 assists, 2 steals. Josh Giddey just kind of floating along. 15 points, 7 assists is nice. Taylor Horton Tucker getting 28 minutes is insane, but hey, you got to play him over Martas Bazelis, right?
Booze, the boy Booze. Booze about to he's about to hit a G League. We're talking a lot about him having to earn his minutes in the rotation. It makes sense. You want to make sure things are earned, not given. But I'm worried about Chicago kind of straddling the line too between development and they don't have that much youth too. So you want to see if are they going to move Vooch? Are they going to move Levine? There's something to keep an eye on. But yeah, you're right about Kobe White. I think kind of a sleeper, and that a lot of people expected him to take a step back on a healthy Chicago team with Levine back, and then adding Giddey and taking the ball out of his hands. But he still produced pretty steadily, pretty consistently. So where you drafted him, you should be pretty happy for what you're getting.
Yeah, not too bad. All right, let's move on. New York go down to Houston, 109-97. New York, I mean, the big thing in New York is obviously the lack of depth. The rotation is about 7 deep there, and even that, Jericho Sims only plays 15 minutes, so really short rotation. There's going to be big numbers and big nights for the starters, and a good opportunity for Miles McBride off the bench. 26 minutes, but went 0 for 9 and 0 for 5 from deep, so that's a struggle. Yeah, big games from Jalen Brunson. Nice to see, 29 points, 8 assists. He struggled a little bit to start the year, but he looks like he's starting to get going. 9 for the free throw line is fantastic for your fantasy teams. Karl-Anthony Towns with 19 rebounds, 9 of them offensive. That's huge. Shooting was poor, but 17 points, 19 boards. There's nothing wrong with that. OG Anunoby obviously gets you your stocks. So he gets a steal and 2 blocks, but also with 21 points today was great. Josh Hart, 12 points and 4 boards with 7 assists. And Mikal Bridges has been playing well, but a bit of a struggle tonight. 15 points, 3 rebounds, not a lot else. It's thin, man. It's thin. I'm scared. I'm scared if they get an injury, what's going to happen?
100%. I'm actually surprised to see Jericho Sims kind of still maintaining that spot over Porty. I thought he was kind of edging that backup C position out, but looking at those starters, everyone outside of Karl-Anthony Towns playing over 37 minutes, close to 38 minutes for every starter. And this is week 2 of the season.
Brunson with 42.
Week 2 of the season is tough, 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 tough. And they're signing some guys. They got the first 2 picks in the G League draft. They added your boy Matt Ryan. So they're getting a little bit of depth there and a little bit more shooting. I'm not sure. You kind of think that they're gonna still add some more. You would have thought they would have traded
Surely.
Dadier for someone else, with that late first, but I don't think anyone was
Yeah.
jumping to get it, but we'll kind of see what happens here.
Yeah, see what happens. Over to Houston, one of just the complete opposite. Hey, there's so much depth of talent on this team. Nice to see Amen Thompson, man, 33 minutes, back-to-back games with 30 plus. 12 points, 9 boards, 3 assists and a steal. Man, that's my guy. My favorite of the twins. I started to have him just above Scoot in that draft early on, and I was flamed for it. But hey, the game is there, man. I'm really looking forward to seeing how he develops. 2 for 2 from the free throw line is really encouraging for a man. Not a great night for Jalen Green. Truthers around the point made team, just 33% from the field, 15 points. Not a lot else, but he's been great. He's been great to start the year, so can't flame him too much. Şengün was great, 25, 14, and 5. The buy low window on Fred VanVleet is still open, just 19 points, 5 assists. A couple of steals and a block is nice, though. Tari Eason's minutes came back down a little bit. Didn't produce a lot tonight. And Reed Shepherd got 14 minutes, chipped in 7 points. What's your read on the Rockets right now?
Exactly what you're saying in terms of depth. Like you got guys that were in the rotation last year not even getting minutes today. Like Aaron Holiday played some rotation minutes last year. Cam Whitmore played some rotation minutes. I'm not the most high on Cam Whitmore. Some of our boys are here at Point Made. Not me, but Amen Thompson, that's my boy too. You're right. I was giving you some looks when you were saying he was over Scoot, but he's right there. I think right there, really knocking on the cusp of stardom. He has all the tools you want, literally top 1% athlete in the NBA, and that's saying something. And everything looks
For
so
sure.
effortless for him when he gets in the air and he just floats. And just the quickness and the burst he has. It's just about putting the ball in his hands and giving him the usage to work with, which is difficult when you have guys like Van Vliet, Green, Şengün, that all just kind of demand the ball. But I mean, Houston's building something great. They got a great coach there. I think just remaining patient with FEV, man. You got Van Vliet, and people are talking about dropping him or selling him off. Like he's not been a consistent top 25 guy for years. Like it's a great dude. You can't give up on that.
I should clarify as well. My Amen over Scoot take was more specifically for Portland at pick 3. As a Portland fan, I really wanted Amen to slide in next to Anthony Simons and Shaden Sharp. I thought that would have been an amazing trio, and the Scoot fit fell off. So I still had Scoot above Amen on draft boards, but for Portland, I wanted them to take Amen, and unfortunately, it didn't happen. But just wanted to clarify, I did have Scoot over Amen in a vacuum.
You got to trade your boy Simons, man.
It's probably going to happen. Probably going to happen.
Trade your boy.
Next
And
game,
fire
Minnesota.
Billups.
Fire Billups, man. Oh, bring back Terry Stotts. I never thought I'd say it. Oh, well, we'll see what happens. Um, all right, Minnesota 114, smash Charlotte 93. It's a blowout. Again, hard to kind of look at minutes and take a lot out of this game. LaMelo, just 24 minutes. Not his best night, but he's been flying. I've been a LaMelo truther, holding him in all sorts of leagues in our dynasty spaces and drafting him in redraft every year and getting burned. But he's flying. It's great to see when he's healthy, man. I've started to see the LaMelo over Halliburton takes start to surface, and you know what? I'm here for it. I'm here for it. The minutes were low everywhere. Trey Mann, just the 21 minutes. I want to give it a couple more games that aren't blowouts with Brandon Miller back before we kind of make any decisions on him. Trending in the wrong direction, but he's been fantastic. So really want to hold on there. Nice to see Tijan Salan get 22 minutes, even though it was a blowout, 5 points, couple of boards. Yeah, I like him long term. Kind of that rebounding stretch. That shot's looking a lot better than we thought it would. So keep an eye on him, especially in dynasty leagues and deeper leagues as we go through the season. Anything else to touch on here?
Yeah, I think I've spoken to a lot of people about Trey Mann in terms of what his role is going to look like. And I think essentially with Brandon Miller there, he's kind of occupying the space that Seth Curry and then we're Josh Green were doing as floor spacers and go-to scorers alongside LaMelo. But when it comes to the bench, you're still not going to have a lot of guys doing what Trey Mann does for Charlotte. So like I said, like you said, you don't want to react too much off a blowout game like this, especially against an elite perimeter defense and interior defensive team like the Wolves are, kind of figuring themselves out again, holding the team with so much firepower like the Hornets to the score that they had today. Just kind of looking at it, and Trey Mann still occupies a role that no one else can fill on the bench. So there's still a lot of room for him to kind of feast and eat. So just don't react to this one game.
for sure. And the same over here at Minnesota. You can't take too much out of this one. Gobert was questionable with the ankle. He did play, didn't do a lot. 8 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists and a block. He's been a little bit up and down. Good games, bad games. But hey, he's getting a bit older, so we expect a bit of a decline around this stage. Anthony Edwards, good field goal percentage, hits you 4 threes. Free throws were rough, but 21 points is helpful. Nas Reed had a big game off the bench. We love our Nas Reeds. But yeah, not a lot to take out of this.
100%. How's Reed, sixth man of the year candidate going back to back, maybe. He just has so much, he just contributes so much to what they need to do when you have Randall and Gobert there and just being able to kind of squeeze Naz Reid into that rotation in the front court and allow to create space for Anthony Edwards to work is amazing. So he's gonna have plenty of opportunities to eat. I think DiVincenzo, he's gonna be able to settle in a little bit. I think he's had a rough start to the season, see him kind of getting dropped and stuff, but I think he does a lot of great things for them, and he's gonna squeeze more and more into the role that Mike Conley has.
For sure. And you get 2 steals and 2 blocks out of DiVincenzo. You're having a good night. So it's good to see. All right, OKC continue 7-0, man. They are just looking fantastic, and they're still waiting for Hartenstein to come back. So they take out Orlando 102-86. Orlando struggling a bit without Paolo. This had started great this year, but obviously missing their best player now is a bit of a struggle. Nice to see Anthony Black 20 minutes. Obviously, it's a bit of a blowout, but not a lot there in terms of production. But the role looks to be there and it looks to be growing. So deep leagues, just pay attention. And on lower volume days, you can look to stream him in for sure. How about Jalen Suggs, man? He's had a huge year. I got to be honest, I didn't see it coming. But he's looked great. What are you seeing?
Jalen Suggs has been nuts, man. I know I traded him to our boy Blind News over in MSBL, kicking myself for a little bit. I was like, oh, low end production in a points league, but Jalen Suggs has been insane, definitely filling a void in terms of playmaking, kind of taking that step forward once again with his scoring. I think he took a huge leap in his shooting last year, and he's able to maintain that and kind of even take a further step this year. It's been great to see. Franz Wagner is my boy right there. I know or some Orlando fans are a little unhappy with his ability to kind of step up with Paulo gone, but he's still recovering from that illness he had that kind of took him out of that game. And in the games he had before the illness, he was absolutely killing it. So just remember that with a team, take away someone like Paulo, so much more attention comes onto a guy like Franz and Jalen Suggs. But seeing De Silva be able to slide into that lineup must feel really good. I always thought he was kind of this plug and play guy that kind of filled a role kind of similar to Jaime Jaquez last year on the Heat. So being able to see him operate with the starting line has been good. I think that must feel good for Orlando fans as they try to figure out their identity without Paolo.
For sure, man. And then over in Oklahoma City, J Dub's had a bit of a strange start to the year, just a little bit down. Some off shooting nights, and some of the peripherals aren't quite where we thought they'd be. But he's going fine. 23 points, 4 rebounds, 3 steals is great here. I think there's probably a little buy low window on Jalen at the moment. I'd be jumping on it. I reckon he's still got potentially a top 30 season in him. And in Dynasty, man, he's a hell of an asset to have. So that's good to see. Chet, what a start to the season Chet's had. 14 points here, 9 boards, couple of blocks. Shea, obviously the other prong of the big three, 21.6 rebounds, 9 assists, and a steal. They're kind of the main three, obviously, right now. Everyone else kind of floats through. There's a bunch of streamable guys, but no one really worth a must roster. Hartenstein is obviously going to be sitting on a lot of people's rosters and probably should stay there until he's back. So we see what that looks like. But Caruso is probably the borderline one. What do you think? Is there anyone you look at as must roster outside of Shea, Chet, and J Dub?
Outside of that, must roster, not sure. I think a lot of these guys are streamable. Kaysen and Caruso, I'm looking at if I need some steals. And just some from punting points, I feel a lot more comfortable holding those guys just because of their periphery stats. So it's really dependent on your build and your league and what you're going for in terms of what stats you're looking for. And Wiggins is probably the most sustainable, steady guy that you can trust outside of those main guys. And being able to kind of just look back at that Chet high stat line all that in 21 minutes is crazy, man. Chet has been insane this year.
Yeah, man, he's looked so good, especially playing that center position with Hartenstein out. But yeah, he's been awesome. Been a steal in drafts at the moment. All right, Indiana 134 over Dallas 127. Ripped through this one. So Halliburton is coming around. 25 points, 12 assists is great. Still, free throws are struggling. 3 of 6 from the line is not great. Bit sad to see Jarris Walker's minutes so low in year two. We were big on him at Point Made, like his skill set, especially for fantasy, but there's not a lot going on for him at the moment. The role isn't there. Still hopeful of a potential breakout at some point, but he's struggling at the moment. Ben Matherin's kind of cementing his role, which is good. 31 minutes, 16.7 boards is nice. Turner had a big game as well, 30 and 11 with a steal and a block. Pascal, pretty Pascal-esque, 23.6 boards, 4 assists. Yeah. What are you seeing with Indiana?
Yeah, no, man, they've got a lot of talent. You could see them kind of consolidating some of their youth, I think, into adding to another guy, another win now move that can include moving Jarace Walker, who I think needs the ball in his hand to really be as impactful as he
Mm.
can be. I know he models his game over a lot of point forwards, and just being able to operate. I think he was a little bit of a tweener, so it's kind of hard to put him at the three at the NBA level, even though he is a very good perimeter defender, at least as a prospect. So I think maybe change of location would be good, but I think Obi Toppin kind of sliding into those those backup 5 minutes. Jarace Walker has a little bit of opportunity to kind of break back into that rotation with just so many injuries happening to their front court.
Sure, man. Moving on to Dallas. Obviously, the center position is a little bit all over the shop, but I think Gafford and Lively are both holds, even though Gafford just plays the 15 minutes here. Kyrie and Luka doing their thing. PJ Washington struggling from the field. Not really surprising, but nice to have 11 rebounds there. Clay, he hits you some threes, is good. But yeah, not too much of note out of this one, I don't think.
It must feel pretty good if you're holding Irving and Doncic in a redraft league, huh? Feel pretty good sitting on that.
Yeah, you'll feel good until championship week, man.
I'm gonna get there. I'm not sure about your
Finals.
team. Play two games,
uh,
championship week, killer, absolutely killer.
Absolutely killer. And you
Someone
did it. You
asked
went
if
back
they
to
should
back.
drop Lively today. You saw that?
I did. Yep. He
Yeah.
was he was injured, man.
He'll be back. He's fine.
Anyway, we move on. Denver, man, they just keep like sneaking out close ones against terrible teams. That just seems to be the theme of their season at the moment. Toronto, RJ Barrett, field goal percentage came way back down to earth, 5 for 21, 23%. 2 for 11 from three is rough, but hey, 6 rebounds and 10 assists and a steal is nice. Obviously, the usage and the assists will come down as Barnes and quickly come back. But hey, you ride it while it's there. It's good to see from RJ those peripherals that we didn't really see in New York. So it's cool. You want to talk about your man?
My boy, my dick, my boy. Grady Dick, my boy, ever since Kansas. You know, I'm a Kansas fan, man. My Jayhawks are rock chalk, but noted defender Grady Dick with 5 steals. Just kind of highlight, round out his amazing line. This dude's averaging 24.8 points per game over the last 6 games. Ever since he'd had to step up, he's already brought his average, to 21 points per game, including those 2 soft games where people are like, I don't know if this Grady Dick breakout's happening. Let's hear. It's here. I don't know if you call it a breakout. He's a second year player, but he's like tripled his points per game output. And for me, that kind of raises an eyebrow. Like this dude is insane. How much is he gonna do when IQ and Barnes comes back? I think he can maintain a lot of this just because he's so elite off ball and the things he does just complements quickly and Barnes's game so well. And then one of those other dudes we want to touch on is Mogbo, who's super interesting because of his stock upside, really well-rounded fantasy skill set as a prospect. And he's getting good minutes, 20 minutes per game, but he's also doing things that kind of take him out of the game. Really high foul rate sometimes, and just kind of learning how to play more in control, I think would do a lot for him going forward. And yeah,
for sure. I don't know if Dick's going to get 20 shots when the other guys are back, but hey, the stocks are great. He's chipping in some assists and stuff. I think the role is still there to be relevant for sure, even once those guys are back. But Dick is taking off.
Taking off. He's coming.
Over to Denver. Big Jokic, 28, 14, and 13. A steal and 2 blocks, man. He's just a monster. Um, so
Baby.
good to see. Russ Westbrook had a good game. Got to roster him at the moment while Jamal's out. He's going to tank your percentages, but he didn't today. So 60% from the field, 80% from the line. 6 boards, 6 assists, 21 points. Take it. Peyton Watson, 30 minutes is pretty interesting. Like him from a 9 cat skill set, especially in Dynasty land. But and your man Christian Brown, what are you seeing? What are you seeing there? You're kind of higher than most, I think, on his role and his ability to keep it up. So convince me, man.
I mean, it's just the role is just with that the role is just so set in stone. He has no choice but to produce, especially with his chemistry that he's shown with Jokic as an off-ball mover. A lot of his stuff that a lot of the looks he's getting is not even from the three-point line, right? Like his cuts to the basket, it just goes hand in hand with the chemistry that he's developed with Jokic from playing with him and alongside him for the past couple of years. He's not gonna get those consistent stocks at a high rate, but he just has so much periphery stats and he doesn't hurt your percentages anywhere. I think just holding him at the end of your roster is not bad at all because he's gonna be one of those consistent guys, those reliable guys. Even if he doesn't have the highest ceiling, it's just there. Strother's one of those guys you want to watch for in terms of those point streamers with a little bit of stock, classic 3 and D upside, which is just what you need to thrive alongside Jokic. And like you said, Watson, man, someone to watch for just in case that Aaron Gordon injury is a little bit more serious. They're so thin too in terms of talent that if a guy in their starting five goes down, one of those guys that come in and fill the role for him, just you have to pick them up
For sure. All right, you've convinced me.
in
Let's
there.
move on. Phoenix 118, knockout
Oh,
Josh.
can't talk
Yeah,
about this game at all,
your
dude.
boys. Philly 116 go down. PG's first game for the season, first game in Philly. He struggled in 30 minutes, 15 points, 5 boards, 4 assists, shot 28% from the field, but he's going to be a bit rusty. Just coming back from a knee injury, he'll be fine. Probably can't do it, but if you want to throw a buy low out there, yeah, see if you can get it done. I think Drummond can probably be dropped. He's not really producing enough, even with Embiid out. Just 15 minutes tonight was a bit of a weird one. Maxi, your boy, 32 points, looked good. And Kyle Lowry, just shout out Kyle Lowry. What is he, 48 years old? 13.7 assists. He's had a good start to the season. Can't complain if you're streaming him or if you've got him in deeper leagues. He's been good.
100%. And I can't even talk about this game. Heartbreaking. I mean, I'm not really panicking as much as other Philly fans are. I think you need some time to integrate PG-13. I don't think the buy low window is there just because if you held him this long, no way you're gonna move him. But one of those things, people get frustrated, in fantasy, people are very reactionary. And whether you expected him to just come completely hit the ground running, just be happy that he played 31 minutes today.
For
And
sure, came out
his shot's
healthy.
gonna fall. He's one of the steadiest guys to have. There's gonna be rest games. He's gonna sit back to backs. But those are the stuff that you knew when you hopped on for that ride. You know what I mean? I agree. Drummond's gonna fall off. I think even Weshaun, Yabusele coming up a little bit. I definitely benched him in our dynasty league today. Very sad. But he popped off, and that's someone to watch for because he has such a well-rounded skill set. His playmaking, 2 assists per game and 20 minutes per game from the 4/5 spot is pretty good, really good. You know what I mean? Especially
Six
for a low
today.
end streamer guy who could also
Yep,
stretch the floor and get you some stocks. Someone to watch going forward if they like him alongside Embiid because that floor spacing.
for sure. Phoenix, Big Nurk, my favorite Portland center. Nice to see him get 28 minutes for fantasy reasons. 15 points, 15 boards is nice. He's had a really slow start to the year. The minutes haven't been there. This is good to see, but I'm not really trusting it yet. Um, but hey, you take it and run. KD looked good, 70% from the field, 5 of 5 from the line, 35 points. Devin Booker had a stinker, 16% from the field, 3 of 18, just 13 points. Um,
We definitely
Ryan
roster him in
Dunn
industry
came back
pickup, don't
down.
we?
We do, yep. He was part of our rough day today. Good old Devin Book. But yeah, kind of not too much to pay attention to. Ryan Dunn only played the 10 minutes of 3, but he's been a far better shooter than we thought he would be. So for dynasty leagues, just keep an eye on him, and he should probably be rostered in dynasty leagues.
100%. Royce continues to cook at the stream. Anytime Bradley Beal's sitting and they plug Dunn in, pick him up because he's gonna get you those threes. He hasn't even really showcased his kind of stock upside, but he's one of the best defenders of this class, if not the
Huge stock
best.
upside.
And he's a really good finisher, very athletic, great size as well. So he has that positional versatility that you want. Definitely plug him in whenever there's someone sitting from the main five.
For sure. All right, San Antonio go down to the Clippers 113-104. San Antonio, what else can you talk about? Victor Wembanyama, 24 points, 13 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals, and 9 blocks. 9 blocks. He had the same amount of blocks as he did field goals. Field goals made. That's just bonkers. Shooting was pretty poor, 40% from the field, 22 from 3. But man, just 9 blocks. It's just bonkers. Chris Paul had a good game. He's playing pretty well. 14 points, 6 boards, 10 assists. Sohan got injured. I'm not sure if you've heard any updates around that, but with him potentially missing time, check out Julian Champagny. Obviously, probably a good stream option there. But Steph Castle might be the one that benefits most. I think he started the second half over Sohan. Finishes at 20 minutes, 4 for 10 from the field. He's one of your guys. So, yeah, what do you see there?
Devastating, and you can see how different the Spurs operate without Sohan and the leap he's taken offensively. His ability to kind of take defenders off the dribble and attack the rim, kind of create that rim pressure has been huge for them. And as a cutter, he's one of the best cutters in the league, especially finishing off cuts. Insane. So I definitely think the main beneficiary for any long-term injury for Sohan is going to be Steph Castle, one of those guys who kind of plays the same game, but he has a little bit more playmaking, a little more natural point guard than Sohan was. And I know that they used a little bit that point guard experiment to kind of develop Sohan into what he was. So Steph Castle kind of, slips easily into that role. So I think he sees the biggest bump if there's an injury there.
For sure. And then over in Clipperland, James Harden's had a pretty good fantasy start to the season. The volume wasn't there today, just 6 of 10 from the field. But hey, at least the percentages were a bit better. 50% from the free throw line was a bit rough, but 17 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, a steal and 3 blocks is a nice surprise. Zubac has had a great start to the year, another 13 rebounds here, 4 assists to go with 17 points, and he's hitting his free throws here, which is great, 5 for 5. Amir Coffey, nice input off the bench, 8 for 10 from the field, 5 for 6 from 3, chipped in 21 points and 6 rebounds. That's handy for really deep leagues, like our 32 team Dynasty League. He helped me out today. That was a good one. Are you seeing anything interesting here?
Kevin Porter Jr. is a person I've talked about just because they have no real playmaker outside of Harden. I mean, and Harden got 4 assists today in 19 minutes. Kevin Porter Jr. led the team with 7. That's definitely something to watch for as he kind of settles in. He was out of the league, got a second chance here with Clippers. Whether he's able to kind of make the most of that second chance is dependent on his shot falling because his shot's been very inconsistent to start the year. The playmaking's there though, and that's definitely a void that needs to be filled on this team.
For sure. And we finally get to the last game, and my boys, the Portland Trailblazers, take out the injury-riddled Pelicans 118-100. I don't know why Portland are winning games, but
You have Billups.
there's a couple. It's a couple. It's just a couple of wins. I'm sure we'll get back to losing pretty soon. Nice to see Tamani Kamara with 16 points, 5 boards, 4 assists, a steal and a block. We tweeted about him earlier today. The defense we knew was kind of there from last year, but nice to see some of that usage trend up and him a little bit more comfortable and confident taking his shot. I really like him as a potential, deeper league dynasty kind of player. He's got good stock upside. I'll talk for way too long about this Portland team, but Anthony Simons, 24 points was good. Scoot really struggled. Nice to see Klingon still play 16 minutes with Rob Williams healthy and available. Rob Williams didn't play. It'd be nice to see him healthy again, but yeah, nice to see Klingon still firmly in the rotation there. Ryan Rupert out of France, 18 minutes, kind of just chipping away at a rotation spot. Keep an eye on that for dynasty leagues and deeper leagues. Delano Bantam did essentially nothing and then just exploded in the fourth quarter and was the reason that Portland won this game. So don't do anything about that, but it was weird to see 8 of 9 from the field, 2 of 3 from 3. He just kind of appeared and turned it on. Denny Avdia is struggling a little bit, 20 minutes, 2 for 5. Yeah, what are you seeing in Portland?
Portland, man, talking about too many. What, three of his last four games, double digits, and led the team in minutes today. So he's definitely endeared himself to Billups, and that's what you want to see in a fantasy realms. Just a consistent role. Whether Matisse coming back eats into that role is something to consider. But I mean, the steps in his offensive game, the steps in his playmaking as a connective playmaker on the wing, everything you want to see. Definitely hurts my heart to see Scoot struggling. He's been in the sub 20, in the sub 30s, mid 20s minutes per game over the last few games, with a lot of his stuff kind of trending downwards over the last three games. So definitely someone to watch. Definitely someone you hold in a dynasty league. Redraft, it's getting a little bit more questionable unless you can stomach some of those bad field goal turnover nights.
For sure. Over to the Pelicans, man, they're just being slammed by injuries. Hey, there's lots of good opportunities for streaming in that space. Brandon Boston Jr., 9 for 15. He played great. That's one of your boys. 20 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals, and a block. Jose Alvarado, you've got to have on a roster somewhere while all of the guards are out, CJ and DeJounte. But yeah, they're struggling at the moment, and Zion was obviously out as well with the hamstring, second game in a row. That's a bit of a concern. Yeah, hard to take much out of New Orleans at the moment. Good stream options. Keep tracking. Eves Missy, not going to give you a lot offensively, but 7 rebounds, no blocks today, but they'll be there. Yeah, anything in New Orleans?
Definitely, just keep an eye on the injury list. Anyone gets ruled out, Zion gets ruled out. There's a lot of shot making, shot creation void left there. That's kind of where Brandon Boston Jr. kind of slides in there. Jordan Hawkins, when he gets back, is going to slide in there, but they kind of operate in different roles. So if you're kind of curious about how Hawkins and Boston Jr. are going to fit together, Boston Jr. has a little bit more of that on-ball shot creation, create his own shot type game. Well, Jordan Hawkins is kind of that elite off-ball mover with gravity again that kind of opens the floor up for guys like Ingram and Boston Jr.
That's it, man. We did it. We were aiming for a 20-minute session here, and I think we might have cracked an hour. So it's hard to talk about 15 games in a short amount of time. I think we've done all right. Been great to chat to you, man. Feel free to wrap us up and send us out.
Always, man. Thanks for all the support that you guys have been giving us, man. It makes doing stuff like this easy, makes it very rewarding. So just keep giving us some love here on Twitter, YouTube, everything that you need to do. Keep following us, and we'll keep providing the content for y'all. So appreciate y'all. Have a good one.